is your martial arts school leaking thousands of pounds every month? And obviously over the year that could up to 60,000, 120,000, maybe even up to 180,000 pounds in additional gross profit that's been missed. So in today's video, I'm just going to quickly talk about obviously the observations I've made over the years from running a very successful, very profitable martial arts school, and how I help obviously serious martial arts school owners. So as always, if you've never seen any of these videos, grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, notepad, whatever it is, notes on your phone, notes on your iPad, and just scribble a few things down. So it is quite easy to plug a few holes in a school bucket if, like I said, you know what you're looking for. And most of the time you can reclaim there an extra £5,000 per calendar month, and obviously £60,000 over a year. Now that may not seem like a lot, and I know if you don't have it, obviously it is a lot, so it's always better to have it. So with that, I'd make sure that you're running a slick, efficient, organised school and treating it like a business. I know I mentioned that in my book. If you haven't got a copy, obviously invest in a copy off Amazon. I think it's like $12.99, $13.99 or something. How to Build a Highly Profitable Martial Arts School by me, Dervish. But yeah, you must treat it like a business. Now, if there's any of my existing mentees watching this, remember I mentioned this a lot. In running a martial arts school, there's only two things that really matter that you need to master really. Number one is learning how to attract and enroll a student. And number two, keeping hold of that student forever. So again, I'm just going to mention that again. Number one, learning to attract and enroll a student into your school. Number two, trying to keep them forever. Those are the two main drivers of your martial arts school business success. Now, the first part of that, again, this is where often the leaks can be plugged. You're going to be looking at how's your lead flow, how many leads you're getting predictably each week. And again, you should be tracking it each month. How many of those are you getting each month? Is it only 5 or 10? Is it more like 20? Is it 30? Do you have Facebook advertising and you're getting over 100 leads per calendar month, but 70 or 80% of them are just tire kickers? So again, we're then going to look at the quality of the leads that you're getting, because I'd rather have every day of the week, every single day of the week, especially now again with Sensei in the room, entrepreneurs and mentees, I'd rather have 5 inquiries a month that are obviously serious about taking a step further forward than 10 times as much, 50, and 45 of them are just tire kickers, you know, and don't appreciate the knowledge and experience and so on. The same is true for the marketing of your martial arts school. So we'll be wanting to make sure that you're getting enough inquiries. Now, some of the schools I'm lucky enough to work with have got, you know, fairly decent marketing going on. They've got a few things happening each and every month, and they're getting a steady trickle. I'm not going to say a flow or a stream, or obviously definitely not a deluge of intros, not when they first come working to us. But then we're looking at the inquiry then, you know, how many do you actually get through the doors of your school? You're then going to be looking at the show rate of once they've booked that first lesson, intro one, you know, what's the dropout rate from somebody putting the hand up to then coming down to that first intro? Then what's the dropout rate then from first intro to second intro? Then what's the dropout rate from having the second intro to the price presentation, the enrollment conference, whatever terminology you use? So many leaks happen in the stages before they've even paid you any money. Often you've outlaid money, whether that's in time, obviously your time or your team's time, or actual physical money, digital money, whatever, you know, in paying for marketing and so on. So you need to always plug those holes first. That's why stats, especially with my mentees, as immediately as when they start working with us, that's the first thing that we cover, stats, because it is crucial. Okay, and again, I mentioned that in the book. Like I said, I'm going to put it up there again, and it's not for the £4 or the £5 that I don't even think we get that off Amazon. It's to help you build your school. Have a look at that. Okay, there is a chapter in there, maybe a couple of chapters on the importance of stats. Now, from that position then, so like I said, the two main priorities of running a martial arts school that you need to master if you're looking to be serious and successful, and here's one for you, not build a prison, not building a job that you're tied to, because that's different from owning a business. It's massively different from owning a business. What the last thing you want to do is build a prison. Okay, you want to build a decent, strong, systemized, efficient machine. Okay, that's the main difference. Now, We need to learn to attract and enroll a student. So already there, just a few within, that little bit, there's a few things, plugs really, that we could put in simply in order for you to make sure that you're getting more intros, and then in order for them to be coming back for the second lesson, and then in order for them to be enrolling. Because if you're only getting one lead a week or one enrollment conference, over the month, then you might get a maximum of 4 members, or you might get 0 members, and then your net enrollment is, you run that hamster wheel struggling away. So that's why you first of all need to increase that number of qualified leads that are coming into your school, so that you're giving yourself a best chance to have a positive number of enrollments, and obviously at the end of the month a positive net enrollment number. If you haven't watched any of these videos before, net enrollment is basically how many members have I enrolled this month, how many have I lost this month, and obviously minus that and see what the figure is. So if you've enrolled 20 this month, fantastic, but if you've lost 20, your net enrollment is 0, and again you're just on that hamster wheel. So other things we'd want to be looking at as the second part of that, and again I'm not going to turn this into a massive detailed video. You then want to be looking at when they do enroll, you and your team need to understand how important it is to keep hold of them. All right, you must underline that, keep hold of existing students. Now, we've all been there. Some members, parents, you'd happily like them to walk away because they're just an absolute pain. Whatever it is you do is never good enough. You put on extra classes, you put on extra seminars, you give them one-to-one tuition, you go above and beyond, and they're still pulling the face. Those ones you're quite happy to let go of, definitely. I would show you a little trick on how to make that happen, but again, we cover that type of stuff in Martial Arts School Mastery and definitely in Sensei Circle. So we need to learn how to look after them. So once they've enrolled, we then need to make sure that during that onboarding process, or some of the Americans like to call it on-ramping and that type of stuff, onboarding. But for us, orientation process, welcome process, whatever it is, progress checks, basic stuff, parent-student meetings with the instructors, okay? Making sure that you're holding their hand through the initial 4, 6, 8 weeks, 30, 60, 90 days, whatever it is, okay? Because the longer you hold the hand and the longer you help them, the more likely they are to stay around. Okay, so, and then you'd need to be tracking your figures over the last 6, 12, 18, 24 months. The more details you've got, the better it is. Because one of the things that when we start working with new mentees, we want them to send as many stats over to us as possible, whatever they've got, because we're likely to be able to see things that they might not be able to see from looking at those stats. So how often, at what point are you generally losing students? And it used to be years ago, especially in your traditional striking arts, so your karate, let's have a look at taekwondo, that type of thing, you'd be losing them at about the 3 or 4 month mark, when often you're bringing in a little bit of contact, or some of the styles did. So if you think about it now, if I'm losing them after 3 months, in theory, then my school is changing, over. By the end of the year, it's rotated 3 or 4 times through new students. Of course, you're going to have existing students, but you're going to have lots that joined in January and have gone in April, joined in February, gone in May, joined in March, gone in June, and so on. So you need to then look at where are we losing lots of members, at what point are we losing members. And again, you want to build that esprit de corps, you want to build that community, you want to build the nice network of people that are all pulling the same way, and people that care for your school and everybody else, really. So of course, have those seasonal parties, summer parties, barbecue parties and that type of stuff, karate in the park, karate picnic, Christmas parties and so on within your school. I'm not saying you go and hire a function room or anything like that, because some people that would often repel. You'd be wanting them to, it's in your school and it's around your school, and forge those strong relationships with the instructors and with students, really. So I'm just going to go over a few things again. You need to make sure that you're mastering and you're continually focusing on high value tasks. Don't be being busy for the sake of being busy. Don't be a busy fool. Don't be stuck in analysis paralysis. We need to make sure that we're focusing on these 2 tasks. Number 1, learning to attract and enroll a student. Okay, underline that, put a box around it, highlight it, wherever it is. And number 2, we need to learn how to keep hold of that student forever. And one thing I didn't mention earlier on there is it's much easier to keep an existing student who you should hopefully have rapport with, who's bought with you before and so on, than it is to enroll a new student, okay? So many schools should be looking to keep hold of and maintain and build stronger relationships with their existing student body, the students that are paying to keep the lights on, the students that are paying the rent, the lease, whatever it is, the students that are obviously helping the business, and the students that ultimately, if you're running this properly, are providing you with that profit each and every month and the dividends each and every year if you're collecting them, if obviously you've got everything structured properly. So yeah, I hope that was a useful video. Try not to make them too long, these videos. Maybe watch it again, make a few notes. But if there's one thing I want you to understand to finish off here is learn to attract and enroll a student. Flash it. Every team member needs to understand that that's the way we're pulling. And number two, learn to keep hold of them forever. Again, if you've got instructors, and I often go on a rant about this during the school mastery sessions, if you've got instructors that just think they get paid to turn up 5 minutes before, bow on, teach high energy, high fives and all this, and teach technical skills, and then after the 45 minutes, the hour, whatever it is, bow off, and then they're in the car 5 minutes later, they've got no accountability of student retention, student enrollment, okay? And you want to, again, I made that mistake 16, 17 years ago maybe. You don't want that. They need to be part of your team, and your team is about building the school, not just teaching that one lesson and then going. Okay, so don't know if I've ruffled a few feathers there, but it's as simple as that really. All of your team need to be pulling the same way. An example I continually tell the school mentees now is, if you've got a team of, use this analogy now, 11 on a football team, and there's only one of them or two of them that are heading, this is our strategy, this is what we're doing, and the other 9 are just hovering around, floating around wherever, how successful is that team going to be? Whereas if you've got all 11 team members that clearly understand the strategy, clearly understand the direction, clearly understand the goals and the metrics, by the end of the week, we need to have enrolled 5 members. By the end of the month, we need to have a net enrollment of 12 members or 15 members, whatever it is. Okay, by the end of the year, we need to have made sure that we've cleared profit easily 200,000, 250,000, okay? So those are the things that we need to be doing, not letting team members dictate to you how to run what is your business. I know I went off on one there at the end, but hopefully that helped a few people. Anyway, take care. Like I always say, keep investing in that black belt mindset. We never, there's no way we can know everything. I'm the first person to say that all the time. That's why we're continually learning. But it's about following people who've been before you and learning from them. Anyway, take care. Again, if you're not one of our mentees and you obviously picked up some value from this video, then you need to make sure that, again, if you're a serious school owner and you're wanting to grow your school and develop it into a strong, sustainable business that doesn't run you, then have a look into booking a school strategy evaluation. Okay, I'm sure we'll be able to help. Take care and all the best. Good luck.